if something happened to Donald Trump, I wouldn't feel sorry for him. But I'm not going to sit here on the air and say, oh, please, I hope something terrible happens to him. I remember, and I've talked about this on the air, and I'm very transparent about it. I remember when Rush Limbaugh died of cancer. And the next day, I was on a very conservative radio station, but I didn't care. And the next day, I went on the air and I said, not going to miss him one bit. Good riddance. And the difference between a Rush Limbaugh and a Joe Biden, this has nothing to do with policy disagreement. Let me be very clear on this. Joe Biden is a man of empathy. He talks a lot about grief and loss. And he talks about the loss of his first wife and his daughter in a car accident. He talks about the loss of Beau Biden. I have my problems with Joe Biden. I have issues with he didn't step down earlier and some other stuff. But I've always said I believe Joe Biden is a decent human being. Now, when I heard Rush Limbaugh had cancer, I didn't really say anything. I didn't say, like, I hope he dies.
Me neither.
I didn't say, good for you. I wasn't jumping up and down and celebrating.
And you certainly weren't wishing it upon him.
No, I didn't do that either. But when he did die, I was not sending out all the grievances and oh, I'm so sorry. This is a terrible loss. Now, I understand his family, his friends. I said, your family and friends, I feel for you. My thoughts to you. I don't feel bad for Rush Limbaugh. And because Rush was the guy who spread bigotry, racism, and hatred on the air every day. He called Barack Obama the magic Negro on the air. He called Sandra Fluke a whore because she wanted contraceptives, for under her health care. This was a very bad man. Okay. I don't feel bad for bad people that lose their lives. Okay. It's kind of like if you're a drunk driver and you crash your car and you kill a bunch of innocent people on the road. Obviously, my first thoughts are for those innocent people who lost their lives. Drunk driver, yeah. While it might be a tragedy, I don't feel for the drunk driver. I feel for those innocent people. That's how I feel about Rush Limbaugh. And that's how I would feel about Donald Trump if something did happen to him. I'm not wishing, but there's a difference. And people said, well, wait a second, Brian, you were gloating when Rush Limbaugh died. No, there's a difference. I wasn't gloating. I said, I won't miss him. And I hope he's burning in hell. That's what I said about Rush Limbaugh. And there's a reason for that. And it's not because he was a Republican. And it's not because I disagreed with his, stuff on policy. It's because he was a really bad person. If you're a really bad person, I don't feel sorry for you if you die, period. No other explanation. I don't wish it upon you, but something bad does happen to you. I don't feel sorry for you. There's a difference. Joe Biden's not a horrible guy. Okay. If you think he's this horrible human being, then there's something wrong with you. And there are people that are gloating when they found out he had cancer. There are people that are happy.
Well, it's like gasoline on the fire for MAGAs. When you talk anything they say about Joe Biden, anything that's negative, they blame him. Trump's blaming him for the bad parts of the economy right now and saying the good parts are me. But Biden is like red meat for the MAGAs. So I believe that is why they mention it. I believe that's why they bring it up and say the negative stuff, because it's providing gasoline for the fire.
Absolutely. I think
terrible thing to do.
Absolutely. I think
they should wish him well and hope that he gets better soon.
But they won't do that. And our own vice president wouldn't do that. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But I mean, it's so pathetic. These people are they're just horrible people. It's worse than a moron.
If it was Putin, it'd be different.
Let me tell you something.
Wishing him the best.
You're right. Good point. You're a moron if you lock your keys in your car for a day. You're a moron. You're not a moron if you're the vice president of the United States and you're talking about a conspiracy theory about Joe Biden. And you're not wishing his family well and feeling for him and his family.